according to my source, they want to go ahead. When I say they, I'm talking about the Valerie Jarretts, the labor leaders, the people who benefit most by Obama being in office and who want to see another 4 years of fundamental transformation of this country. It's them who are saying, look, let's ensure his re-election. If we can't ensure his re-election through votes, then we're going to ensure it through through controlling the opposition, controlling the voting process, and even perhaps suspending the elections, which is incredible. I know it's Looney Tunes talk, but
it's not Looney Tunes talk. We had all those White House advisors, the Financial Times of London, their fundraisers saying, don't worry if he gets down on the polls. There'll be an event, a new Oklahoma City or 9/11 will blame on the Tea Party. We'll blame on Alex Jones, Glenn Beck. I mean, that was all said, and you're saying your source says, I mean, they did Fast and Furious, so they could be capable of doing anything. That's why we have to look at this, and that's why this is such big breaking news. Continue to elaborate on this, then we'll learn more tonight when you guys break this down with Steve Quayle, but I want to get Steve's take on this. What else did your source say?
Well, to expect this, it's going to depend on the series of, or it's going to depend on how things work out or how things play out. But one of the things is to expect it when you least expect it. And this is something I didn't publish, and also to whatever it is going to be, it's going to galvanize, it's going to polarize, I should say, various aspects of our country. The rich versus the poor, the black versus the white. I mean, it's going to cover a gambit of things. That's what my source is saying. Well,
you notice the White House got caught sending in agitators of the Trayvon Martin deal.
Yeah.
But people were too smart on all the sides to take the bait. I mean, they are really trying to get us fighting with each other.
Well, yeah, and I think, and to your credit and to Steve's credit, to people who are speaking out against this, you know, and you had mentioned earlier, what if this is just nothing more than a disinformation campaign? I thought of that. It could very well be. And if that is the case, then so be it. How do you tell? I don't know. But the fact is, this guy, who I believe I've known this guy for a quarter century. Look, he's given me a lot of information in the past, and he said these people are very serious. These people want. I mean, look, it's going. You know, this is right now. The start of what could very well be a dramatic change in America itself. And
well, the globalists are running around like it's the end of the world, digging in everywhere, arming themselves, and they know they've got to get this collectivized New World Order in. But I mean, you know, Romney's not much different than Obama. I don't know why they don't let just, you know, that just coast in. But there are those Chicago Mafia criminal elements that are so virulent that they may want to keep that particular management team in place. We know there's fights within the whole New World Order system. Your source in DHS, do they say anything about, I mean, I'm just throwing out questions I would ask about other people in DHS. I mean, is there anything they won't go along with? I mean, obviously they're concerned if they're telling you stuff, they're telling me stuff. We get, you know, a lot of breaking news as well. I mean, the word I get is that police and military and even feds, even though they've tried to pick bad people, are just totally freaking out right now because everything that the conspiracy theorists talked about is coming true.
No, which is true. Your information is accurate, and I know you've got some fantastic sources. The rank and file of DHS, of the law enforcement agencies that are involved in DHS, yeah, in fact, they're fed up. They are freaked out, for lack of a better descriptive term. But in particular, one thing that really got to me was the fact that we all recall the sexual component to the Napolitano staff picks and
lesbian parties, you know.
Exactly. That, they almost, according to my source, they almost lost control of this information, I shouldn't say the information, of the compartmentalization of the information, because it was during one of those situations, let's just say, that there was something said, and it was done in such a fashion where there, in fact, they're very adept at using sexual perversions for blackmail, and that's why they're bringing these people in. I mean, look, blackmail is blackmail, and of course, if you're married,
well, they want to bring in mentally defective people that. I mean, it's one thing to have those sexual persuasions, but, you know, just the domination, the craziness, the wildness of these souped up, you know, hyper male. You know, I mean, these women take testosterone. I mean, and that's the whole culture. They're crazy people, basically, and they can't help it. That's who the globalists want, is just lunatics who would order I mean, say what you want about Bush. They didn't have TSA fondling children and women at the airport. I mean, this is a group taking their sick domination out in the open. They're criminals. Criminals always get reckless.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, you were saying that before, long before I was. Steve Quayle was saying that long before I was. And boy, I'll tell you, what a wake-up call I received when I realized everything you've been saying is true and everything that Steve's been saying is true, and to have somebody from, detached to DHS, law enforcement officer, say, hey, look, this is what's taking place. And it is. And so to really sum it up, at this point, I believe, based on what my sources told me, we are at the point now where there has been a commitment given by, whether it's Valerie Jarrett or someone else close to Obama. Perhaps Obama doesn't even know about this or has a suspicion, but he's not in on necessarily the integral planning of this. But that final go-ahead has been given, and certain conditions have to exist or should exist before whatever it is.
Well, there it is. From your source, there's the headline. Globalists to stage false flag for Obama, or false flag trigger to be pulled for Obama. I mean, you think that's an accurate headline?
I do. Very much so. Yes, I do. And I think, Canada Free Press picked up on this. Judy McLeod had written a story yesterday that kind of set the stage. Yeah, and we didn't collaborate on anything for this article about, staging a false flag event.
Look. We've got all these advisors saying, gee, it would sure help us. Now Obama's in trouble. And everybody better have their eyes peeled for this. You guys are going to cover this more tonight. People can find out at stevequayle.com or Northeast Intelligence Network's website. In fact, give people that site again.
It's Alex, thank you very much. It's HomelandSecurityUS.com. It's HomelandSecurityUS.com, not affiliated with any government website.
Sure, and we've had that up on screen as well. Let's bring Steve Quayle in here, who's on the show tomorrow. In fact, we should get you on after him tomorrow. He's on at noon, the radio show tomorrow. Steve Quayle, give us your take on what you just heard, because you were the one while we were on air that alerted me to Doug's new report, so we got him on with you at the end of this in-depth interview. This is just chilling, because this fits into all the preparations we see, and then the criminals are so arrogant, they're writing op-eds in major publications going, don't worry, there'll be a big staged event we'll blame on people. I mean, they're so arrogant, they don't even put 1 inch of separation. They don't say they're going to stage it. They just say, don't worry, fundraisers. Doesn't matter if we're down the polls. There'll just be something staged. We'll blame on the Tea Party. I mean, they're now suspect number 1, Steve Quayle, when there's an event. I mean, aren't they?
Well, absolutely, but it gets back, Alex, to the same thing. Everybody other than them is a target to be destroyed. They have assassination algorithms. We'll talk about that maybe tomorrow on your show. But again, Doug, why don't you give out the Blog Talk Radio that address too, because it's on Blog Talk Radio under Hagman and Hagman, right?
Correct. And Steve, the best way to do it would be just to go to I think you've got a link up on your website. If not, HomelandSecurityUS.com. Click on the Listen Now button.
Yeah, that's why I sent them there. And Doug, if you can do it in the hour after Steve tomorrow, that'd be 1 o'clock Central. I'd like to try to get you on because again, even if this is disinfo they're giving your people, all the preparations are there. We know they'd stage this if they could get away with it. We may be able to stop them if everybody runs around like chickens with their heads cut off right now, getting this info out. That could, or do you think if they've committed, they're still going to pull the trigger?
Well, Alex, my source said, look, you got to make this public. You got to let people know about this, because it could very well stop this. It could very well.
Oh, that's key. Oh, really? What do you...
Yeah. Now, I mean, this has been, of course, he's been saying that since April, because this, by the way, this story is the culmination of a series of conversations we've had. So, yeah, and every time he said, look, the more information you can pump out there, the more sunshine you can put on this, the more exposure you can get on this, the less likely they are to expose, or to go ahead and do this, because the backlash. I mean, look, they want the backlash, but they're afraid of an informed backlash. I don't know if that makes sense.
Sure. I mean, they're wanting to get away with this and be able to launch it and not have people looking at it when it happens.
Yeah, they want the response. In other words, for example, using the Trayvon Martin shooting, supposedly which it wasn't a black on white or a white on black crime. They want that knee-jerk response. But if you know ahead of time that, hey, this is going to happen, this is being planned, it's going to happen, well, then the response can be tempered, and of course, it won't work.
Sure. I mean, you can diffuse it or partially diffuse it or misdirect it. Did he give any ideas on what it could be? I mean, it sounded like he was alluding to this will play race and financial groups off against each other.
Yeah, he's stuck right along with since day one. There's a racial component to this. There's an economic component to it, a huge economic component to it, and just a general chaos aspect of the revolutionary component of the people involved. So, yes, the economics and race and class warfare.
All right, we're going to talk about it tomorrow on the radio for the second and third hour. Mr. Hagman, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, closing comments, Steve Quayle.
Well, first of all, these are creatures of darkness, Alex, and so all the light we can get placed on them is good. But the point is, there is a supernatural element to this, and evil of this nature cannot just be combated by shining the light on it. And I'm telling everybody, I'm saying it is time to pray and intercede. Intercede means to call upon God to show you what you have been blind to, so that you can get your families out of harm's way. I believe a little differently than Doug does, because I got a call, I think I shared that with you at the beginning of our talk before we went to recording, that two people went out in the field and talked, and they basically said it's coming down. You cannot put all this military into the field, have all of the secret stuff going on, the positioning of artillery, tanks, drones, missiles being taken out, all these different sleeper cells activated. They are going for it. There is a timetable in the Middle East. We can talk about that tomorrow. Try and tell people what will be the specific things to look for. But again, if this goes for everything a person owns, including their freedom, if you can't touch it, and you don't own it. So you have to be able to know this, that everything that you've taken for granted, whether it's your food, your medicine, your clothing, your vehicles, everything is in the globalists. They want it all, Alex.
Amazing. They
want it all.
All right, Steve Quayle, thank you. We'll talk again tomorrow on my syndicated radio show, and I'll be following what you cover on the radio. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, folks, there goes Steve Quayle. Man, these are the times that try men's souls. Everyone can feel the energy. You can see intellectually what's going on. I agree we should pray to God to reprieve this country, but nobody reprieve the 50+ million babies that have been aborted. You can see it all building up. I hope we get the word out and back this off. We've backed off the Iran attack multiple times. We've backed off so many other things that the globalists will use to bring in their new world order. But everything is lining up right now. And, well, that's it for this super extensive InfoWars at Nightly News. That's why I'm doing the Sunday radio show. It's why we do the Nightly News, because so much is happening. It takes this much time to cover everything. So please get the word out so we can back this off, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Alex Jones signing off. Until tomorrow, Lord willing, please pray for us. God bless you all.